Well, welcome everybody. As Lisa said, I'm Dr. Mark Woodford. I am the program coordinator for the family programs at the College of New Jersey and Department of Counselor Education. We have a school counseling master's degree, a clinical mental health counseling master's degree, a marriage and family counseling master's degree, but today the two programs that I'm going to be talking about are the Student Assistance Coordinator Certificate Program, also called the SAC program, which is 21 credits, and the Educational Specialist Degree Program in Marriage and Family Therapy, which is 24 credits. As I mentioned, the other three programs that we have are all master's degree. The first two there, clinical mental health, are 60 credits, and marriage and family are 60, and the last, the school counseling program, is 48 credits. And then we have within the clinical mental health either a general practice track or the substance abuse and addiction specialist track. And so I mentioned those just in terms of having information about all of the programs that we have at TCNJ in our department. And students who are going to be taking courses in the EDS or the SAC program would have these other students also taking some of those classes either as electives or part of their program of study. So I'll start with the first part of this program. We'll focus on the SAC certificate, and the second part will focus on the EDS. The SAC program at TCNJ it's a Student Assistance Coordinator program. The overview of it is that it's a 21 credit program. It meets the educational requirements for the SAC Certificate of Eligibility with Advanced Standing, and I'll explain that a little bit later on, for working in the schools. We don't give the certificate out through our school. We just meet the educational requirements for that certificate, and the certificate itself comes from the New Jersey Department of Education. Those 21 credits can be taken as a standalone program, which I'm describing today, or if you were to apply for the master's program, they could be taken as part of and in addition to one of our master's degree programs. There are 6 core classes in the SAC certificate, and the 7th course is the practicum, which I'll get to in a minute. The 6 core classes include 4 specific courses for substance abuse and addiction counseling. 551 is the overview course that gives psychopharmacology and effects at the family and societal level. The 552 is the prevention strategies course that looks really at prevention of alcohol and drug and other issues such as school dropout, teen pregnancy, cutting behaviors, things like that. 553 is treating substance abuse and co-occurring disorders, and then 554 is Student Assistance Coordinator in the School, which is a course that's specific to the role of the SAC in the schools. And then the other 2 classes are foundational courses of human growth and development across the lifespan, and then also the counseling children and adolescents course, which is, both of those are EPSY Ed.S courses. Then, as I mentioned, the 7th class, this 3-credit course, is the SAC practicum, and that course is called a department project. It is 3 credits, but it's 300 clock hours of professional clinical experience. 120 of those hours would be in direct contact with students at the school, and then 10 of the 120 hours would need to be in group work, because a lot of the work that the SAC does in the school is in groups. The remaining hours would be in other professional activities that are a role of the SAC would do in the school. The SAC practicum really is a high quality, highly supervised clinical experience to give the students the chance to work with a SAC in the school who is their direct supervisor on site, to develop their own counseling skills and come up with interventions, do prevention work, and all of the pieces that are part of the puzzle of working as a SAC in a school. The practicum placement is approved by us. We recommend SAC sites around the Mercer County area. We do have SAC sites in Trenton, and if you select one of those, there's actually a $1,000 AmeriCorps scholarship that would go along with working in the Trenton schools. So I was talking about the practicum placement. We have SACs in the Trenton area, as I mentioned, and we have a coordinator for field placement that can help and does an orientation to selecting a SAC practicum site. Additional requirements for the SAC certificate. So in the final semester, our students would notify our department secretary about the fact that they're in their final coursework, and then we notify the certification office in the School of Education, and the paperwork is then sent to the School of Education, and that is when the student can apply for the SAC CEAS, which was that certificate of eligibility with advanced standing. Then with an offer of employment, you can get an offer of employment from a school district with that SAC CEAS. At the school district level, you apply for a provisional SAC certificate that's done through the school district. And again, here's a number that you could take a screenshot of this page. The school district will set up what's called a SAC residency program. They will need to complete documentation to be submitted to the New Jersey Department of Education, which is basically setting up the residency program, agreeing to provide you with supervision. That's a 6-month residency going full-time, or 12 months going part-time. And this mirrors what happens when individuals graduate from a teacher education program. They get a provisional certificate, they do a residency, and then the school district endorse them. And at the end of that, they are issued what's called a standard SAC certificate. So our program merely gets through the educational requirements to get that certificate of eligibility advanced standing, which allows you to apply for SAC positions. If you want further information about this SAC certification process, residency requirements, or any clarification about anything that I've talked about, you can contact the New Jersey Department of Education at the number listed there. So admission to the SAC program, you would complete an application, which would include any undergraduate or graduate current transcripts that you have. There's a personal statement, 2 letters of reference. And then what we have here in B and C, or in B, is the evidence of a type of certification that goes along with requirements that are required by the state. So there are a number of categories of certifications that you can have, that you have to have as a prerequisite to get the SAC certificate. So the school counselors, school psychologists, and so forth that are listed there, prevention specialist. Or you can have a standard instructional certificate, which is a teaching certificate, or a master's degree from or higher from a regionally accredited institution. So you present evidence of one of those, and prerequisite courses in counseling, the intro class, the theories class, and the group class. And then if you don't have a master's degree, the GREs would be required. And then the last piece is participating in an interview process with our counselor education faculty. So that's the information about the SAC program, and now I'm going to move into the postmaster's degree in marriage and family therapy, the educational specialist degree. This degree is a postmaster's, meaning that it would be in combination with a master's degree in counseling or related field. Combining those together, so if you have a master's in counseling or social work or related field, would meet the educational requirements for the licensed marriage and family therapist. So social work, pastoral counseling. If you have a related degree and you're unsure about how it would couple with our educational specialist degree to meet the requirements for the licensure, I'd be happy to meet with you as a faculty, as one of the faculty, to review your graduate transcripts and help you to determine whether you would be eligible for licensure after completing the program. This is a list of the coursework that are required for the Ed Specialist degree. As I mentioned, it's 24 credits. The 600, the first class, is an overview of all the marriage and family theories. The theory and development of family systems takes a look at intergenerational dynamics. We have a class in assessment based on different theories of marriage and family. The laboratory, 603, is when you get to practice doing role plays and also watching videotapes of people that have worked with families in our training clinic, which I'll talk about in a minute. We've recorded sessions with families to show different types of interventions, and then we also have videos of some of the masters, Salvador Minuchin and so forth, that we also show in the lab and talk about different types of interventions. All of that is in service of going into your own work and doing a practicum and internship experience. And then we also have classes in couples and relationship where we talk about couples counseling, human sexuality related to that, and then the ethical, legal, and professional issues course in marriage and family therapy. So the clinical work, which are the last two classes listed there, 606 and 607, students are required during this process, and that happens, it begins in the summer actually. At the TCNJ clinic there's an orientation, and we start with a family or two in the summer, and then you take the practicum in the fall of your last year and the internship in the spring of your last year, and it allows you to get some practice in working with couples and families under supervision. It could be direct supervision, it could be recorded supervision. Actually, all of the sessions are recorded there on site at the TCNJ clinic in a state-of-the-art training facility that's really put together for this program. As it says there, all sessions are recorded on DVD. We have one-way mirrors to do live supervision. We also have an interactive play therapy room for working with children and adolescents doing play therapy. And the TCNJ clinic is a facility that provides sliding scale $15 to $45 counseling session for anyone in the community, Mercer County or surrounding areas, to come in and get low cost but effective couples and marriage and family counseling. So the ultimate goal, for most people obtaining the educational specialist degree, is to get licensed in New Jersey as a LMFT. It will require additional clinical hours beyond the degree, even though you can count the hours that you obtain in the practicum and internship towards your hours needed for the LMFT. So when you graduate from the program, you can apply for what's called a temporary permit to practice marriage and family therapy under supervision of a qualified supervisor. You would have to have a supervisory plan in place that you would submit to the licensing board in New Jersey, which is the Division of Consumer Affairs. Once you have the permit, you can practice marriage and family therapy, and takes up to 3 years to get enough license in this sort of postmaster's residency program to then be eligible to sit for a licensure exam, which is an exam in marriage and family therapy. When you pass the exam, they issue the LMFT in New Jersey. So those are the two programs that I was going to highlight tonight, the SAC and the EDS in marriage and family, just to give some reasons to consider TCNJ. We offer the only EDS program in marriage and family therapy in central and southern regions of New Jersey. In 2012, we moved into our new School of Education building, which has a state-of-the-art training facility, technology, training laboratory, and we have, as I mentioned, on-site, also in Forcina Hall, our clinical training facility, which is called the TCNJ Clinic. Here's a picture of the counseling lab facility. This is the School of Education, so on the left is the hallway, what looks like a window looking off to the right. That's looking into the room, the counseling room on the picture on the top right. And the lights, the hall lights will be turned out so that we can watch the sessions going on there in the counseling lab. And then we can also, as the bottom slide, we can watch over TV screens and record those sessions and then review those with students and talk about how they did in their roles as counselors. This is a picture of the inside of the TCNJ clinic, the waiting area. It's a really wonderful facility. It also provides the employee assistance program for the entire college and for several organizations around the Mercer County area. We have the Intoxicated Driver Resource Center is run for Mercer County, is run through the TCNJ clinic as well. Here's a picture of one of the counseling rooms, and you can see the cameras there up on the left where we record all of our sessions. So it's a really nice facility, and all of our EDS students are required during their practicum and internship to see families and to have us help them develop as marriage and family therapists through this training process at the clinic. Just wanted to give an idea of the staff. Nancy Scott is the clinic director. She has her LMFT, and Bob Watts is an LPC, is associate director, and the other staff there. And it's just a quick description of where the location is and the phone number, and also the web page if you want to look more in depth at what the clinic has to offer. And you can take a screenshot of this slide as well. Reasons to consider the TCNJ SAC program. We have a great program in the summer where 3 of our classes, the overview, the prevention, and the treatment course, are all offered in Lisbon, Portugal. And it's happening there this summer in 2015. We chose Portugal because, well, it's a beautiful country to visit, but it also has decriminalized drugs in 2001, and Kofi Annan at the United Nations has said that it's really a model nation for dealing with addiction as a public health issue. And so our students in these courses, it's a blended learning format, get to go to a lot of site visits. In my class that I teach there in the Treating Substance Abuse and Co-occurring Disorders course, we go to visit an alcohol and drug treatment facilities. In the prevention course, they go to a needle exchange program, and in the overview course, they visit the largest casino in Portugal, which is in Estoril. So each class has a unique opportunity, and the credits there are actually cheaper in the Graduate Global Studies program, which helps if you take all 3 classes. It helps with the cost of the airfare to get there. So it's something to think about. It's something that's unique to TCNJ. And we plan to offer these courses each summer. And they run for 5 weeks, the end of June through the end of July. Here's a nice picture of some of the areas. The school, actually, where the classes are taught is near Sintra, which is where some of the older castles are. The students stay down near the beach, as do the faculty near Keshkesh. And then it's about a 45-minute train ride into Lisbon if you want to do some touring. So it's a really wonderful opportunity for students to get both these 3 courses in a month and really 5 weeks, and then also get to spend some time in Europe. What can you expect as a student in our program? We have small classes. Most of the core classes are no more than 20 students. The EDS program, you're going to be in the practicum and internship with about 4 or 5 students who are postmasters. The SAC students get individual attention in their practicum as well, working with a supervisor who does site visits where you're doing your SAC. We have a very student-friendly department, I think. Most of the students would say that. We have a lot of didactic and experiential learning processes, and as part of that we have discussions about diversity and cultural issues. There's a lot of self-exploration, and that's in the form of papers and also experiential learning processes in the classroom. And then Lisa already mentioned about the non-matriculated status. You can take up to 6 credits as a non-matriculated student that you can then apply to the program if you're accepted, and there's some of the requirements for that. It's simply your academic transcripts from your undergraduate, minimum GPA of 2.75, and a personal statement that explains why you're interested in taking courses at TCNJ in the Department of Counselor Education. The deadlines for non-matriculation application are December 1st for the spring, August 1st for fall admission, and but in order to be fully matriculated, you would need to go through the application process that Lisa described earlier in the presentation. Some additional information. All of our admissions and program information are available on both the TCNJ Graduate Studies and our Counselor Education website. It has our student manuals, our clinical manuals, our program planners, all of the information to contact any of our faculty if you have questions. And here's some more information of faculty that you can contact. Miriam Cavallero, the Clinical Mental Health Coordinator, and I'm the coordinator for both, as I mentioned, the family programs and the SAC certificate. And then Stuart Rowe, Dr. Stuart Rowe is the school counseling program coordinator. So thank you for your attention today, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. And I'm going to turn this back over to the moderator.